Hello guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today's reading, what does Baphomet actually think about you? We have two groups. We have Antlers and Weather Divination. Antlers and Weather Divination. Alright, so, just in case you're confused, just in case you don't know what group to decide, I got a bell here that can help you decide. Alright? Group number 1. Group number 2. So, those are your groups, and whichever one sounds like it's yours is yours. And I'll see you in your group. Hi, group number 1. Welcome to your reading. So, what does Baphomet actually think about you? Starting with the overall energy, which is Antlers. Okay, 3 might be a significant number to you. But when I think of Antlers, I think about masculinity, and Mars is represented by the number 3. It's the 3rd day of the week. So I feel like that is something that is important to you, the number 3 in some way, shape, or form. March. Just like 3 in particular, maybe you were born on the 3rd day of a month. Born in 2003, 1993. So 1983, it could be some year with 3 in it. Or maybe, 2023. There's something about 2023 that might be really significant to you. Or 2013 even. So yeah. Ew, did you hear that spit? So yeah, there's just something significant about the number 3 to you guys, perhaps. For some, I guess. But you guys are really aligned with your divine masculinity and your Mars energy. And that's something that's very important to you guys. And I feel like maybe the reason why you're aligned with your divine masculinity is maybe because, well, for some, it's just natural to you. Like, some of you guys may have been born a male or just resonated with masculine energy all your life. But also, I feel like you need to apply some type of, forceful masculine energy in your life right now with the Antlers card. And you need to apply that forceful masculine energy in the way that you express yourself, the way that you show yourself. Because this card highlights being open to other people about who you are and standing firm in your identity being something important to you. You guys attract people's eyes. Like, a lot of people stare at you or are constantly watching you. I feel like the watching part could be representative of maybe spirit guides or family protection, some type of protection, some magic that has been casted over your bloodline. I just feel like you guys attract a lot of people because a lot of people are fascinated with who you are, with your energy, with what you bring to the table. And I also thought, with the deer that's on this card, that could be a representation of Baphomet himself. The girl is leaning on the deer, and that could be you and him. And although he can be unisex or non-binary in a sense, or gender fluid, sometimes he's represented as the divine masculine. And for some people, not all, because I know some pagans don't believe that Pan is Baphomet, but for some people believe that Pan is Baphomet. So he is the representation, or one of the representations of divine masculinity and witchcraft. So it could be, this card could also be symbolic of him being maybe like a shoulder to cry on, but also someone who protects you, watches over you, and someone you can trust. So, and maybe for some of you guys, coming back to this whole entire divine masculinity thing, it's some of you guys are afraid to be emotional or ask for help because you feel like you have to be strong all the time and you feel like you always have to be a warrior. But you can ask for help and you can cry and you can be emotional. I also feel like for some of you guys might resonate with feminine energy more, and that's completely fine. Some of you guys, I was thinking about what I was going to say, but I kind of lost it. I feel like maybe for some of you guys, there's a wonder about why masculinity is always represented as like strong and fierce, but femininity is always represented like in the light of softness. And I guess what I would say to that is that it's like more of a societal construct that is taken over. I feel like divine masculinity and femininity is very strong in their own rights and fierce and intense in their own rights as well. And I feel like maybe some of you guys might, and this is for like a very small percentage, but I feel like some of you guys may feel this way because you're afraid to just allow yourself to be fluid in your gender, fluid in the way that you present yourself. And that's maybe a part of your self-expression, just being fluid, or even not even resonating with gender at all. Some of you guys need to like feel comfortable being fluid in your gender and stop feeling like you're restricted to just one energy, like, oh, I have to be always in the divine femininity or always in the divine masculinity. It's like you can be wherever the hell resonates with you. You don't have to be restricted to your gender, right? So you have to understand that, gender is something that's fluid. A lot of the representations of gender that we have now, it's just societal constructs from, colonialism. Oh my, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the like constructs that we have about gender, it's from like slavery and shit. So it's like, you can be wherever the hell you want to be. In like ancient times, like a lot of our elders, they were gender fluid or non-binary. Even in some of our like lore, and I'm not trying to get like on this whole entire like, I guess like rant about like queerness and stuff like that, but even in a lot of like lore, like, these characters that we know, they can like jump between divine feminine and masculine. That reminds me of, I think like, was it Mami Wata? I think she can also appear as like a male in some cases. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the characters that, or a lot of the spirits that we have loved and have studied and have been passed down through our bloodlines, a lot of these spirits and characters, if you will, I don't really like calling them characters, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say, like the archetypes that have influenced our societies in ancient times. A lot of these like spirits, they have never been completely defined, even Baphomet, by gender. They have always been able to be fluid or even queer in some cases. So therefore, for some of you guys, you just need to hear that like you are allowed to be exactly who you want to be. You know what I mean? Whether that be gender fluid or non-binary or just however the hell you choose to express yourself, that's completely fine. And that's what a lot of this card is highlighting, just self-expression and being yourself. So is there anything else I can channel from this card? And I feel like the antlers is kind of like about growth and even connection to like nature. Um, and I feel like maybe it's like for some of you guys, your antlers, or not for some, I feel like for all of you guys, your antlers have grown. You know what I mean? How like when the baby deer starts with like the little nubs, like the little boy deer. I don't fucking know the name for it. Is it a stag? When like the little baby deer, yeah, it starts with little stubs on its head and then it grows and the antlers grow and grow and grow. Like I feel like you guys, your antlers have grown so much. Like they're full at this point. I also feel like maybe this card is also a highlight to get back to like the wild and get back to like your wild spirit and be free and just, you know, I feel like I've been highlighting that honestly throughout this message thus far. Like it's time to be free. It's time to just be you, to just exist as you without feeling restricted by any of these societal expectations. Okay? So, that's that. All right, let's get into the tarot. Or we have the Hierophant. What does he actually think about you? He gives you the Hierophant. He gives you the Six of Pentacles. There's something silly. He gives you the King of Wands. And the Seven of Cups. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to get a table, and don't worry, we will have a table soon to be doing these readings on. I did have a desk, as you guys remember, but yeah, it's about time that I get an altar table, right? All right, let's get into this. So, he gives you the Hierophant, and so I feel like you guys have a major impact on your community. Like, you're just meant to be seen, acknowledged, and wherever you go, like, your energy is just so intense. It's just like you have that star power that people cannot ignore. And like you're just like the key, like you're the sun in your community. And everything just kind of like naturally starts revolving around you. And I feel like there's just this like intense leader energy. And like you're just a force that is just unconquerable. He also shows that there's like blessings with the Six of Pentacles. There's a lot of blessings that are showering you at this current point in time. And also, you guys are very giving. You guys give a lot of wealth and prosperity to other people through maybe just like, I feel like some of you guys, perhaps, oh my god, my voice, perhaps, perhaps, I, I feel like you guys give a lot to your community in some way, shape, or form. Like, if you're a creator, then your creations are very important to a lot of people. And this community could be like digital, this could be an online community, this could be a physical community. This is not like, it doesn't have to be like a physical community, or like, I'm not necessarily talking about like your city or like your town. I'm talking about like wherever you lead, wherever you are well known. It could even be like a reference to like a group or something that you're part of. You give so much like positive energy or just healing energy towards these people, and you're just receiving that back. And he highlights that you are on the brink of success, like something that you have been doing is working, and it's opening the doors to like multiple opportunities, and just like it's opening the door to like multiple different options for you with the Seven of Cups. Like there's so many different options that awaits you. And there's like so many different places that you can go. And wherever you decide to go, like you're always going to be welcomed, and you're always going to be honored. Because you guys just have that star power. You just have that glow. You just have that intensity that everyone loves. But you are meant for so much success in your life and so many different opportunities. And whatever you're doing right now, it's really working. It's going to bring in a lot of wealth and money. And you need to make sure that you're incorporating your spirituality and your art and in your community, and you need to make sure that you're being authentically you. And for some, it's like speaking the truth. Your truth and the truth about your spirituality. Because your truth can inspire other people that are like you. And I feel like with the Six of Pentacles, it comes back to that. It's just like you inspire other people. The energy that you give to other people is healing, and it could resonate with some. And, you know, it reminds me of a comment that I saw, and this was like a while back. This was probably a couple of months ago, but I was like looking through my Google Photos, and I saw like a screenshot, because I screenshotted the comment because of how foolish it was. And I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this guy was in my comment section, and he was just like really lighting me up. And this person was obsessed with me. Like, I'm not trying to go on a tangent, but they were obsessed with me. Like, they would constantly come back to my videos and then comment and just get mad and angry. And I'm like, it was just weird because they would be like treating me like I was like a peasant or something like that. Yeah, they needed all my messages, right? It's weird. But anyways, one of their comments like stuck out to me because it was just like so foolish. Besides the weird Michael Jackson comment that they made. Talking about, did Jimi Hendrix teach Michael Jackson the guitar? What? Anyways, I'm sorry because I can't even explain the comments, so I'm not even gonna go into it. But one of the comments was like, I hate how, you know, a lot of these tarot readers will talk about us being life coaches and spiritual healers, when the truth is, you know, any person that's going on a spiritual path just needs themselves and themselves only. And they were just like getting really mad how I was talking about, I guess within that reading, whatever group they were watching would be really good with like healing other people or just giving messages and knowledge that they have learned throughout their spiritual path. I guess they were really fucking pissed by that. But I guess what I have to say in regards to that, and the reason why I felt called to mention that is because like you really give this like Hierophant energy and this like this teaching, this healing energy. The reason why I really want to highlight that comment is because like it's not that I'm telling you guys when I give this advice to be a life coach and, you know, go out and be like, hey guys, this is how you go about a spiritual journey. This is how you become a Satanist. I'm not saying that. You know, what I'm trying to say is that when you're authentically you and when you're sharing your truth and when you're pursuing your art and expressing yourself and talking about your spiritual journey, when you do that, you're inspiring and healing other people naturally. You don't have to sit up here and go the life coaching route where it's like, okay, guys, this is what I did, you know what I mean, during my spiritual awakening. It's like, you don't have to do that. Just being yourself is enough, and it's healing. You know what I mean? It's healing to be yourself. It's healing to express yourself authentically. You know what I mean? Because, you know, when I was a child and I saw like a lot of like weird, or I guess people who are considered outcast by society, those people inspired me. You know what I mean? When I would watch movies of like monsters even and stuff like that, and, you know, play Mortal Kombat as a kid, you know, that type of stuff inspired me. And never once did those movies ever, you know, tell me to be a Satanist, but it naturally pulled me towards that path. That was naturally where I was going to go, inevitably. But, you know, me seeing those things, you know, I mean, me playing Mortal Kombat as a child, like, you know, when I was like 7 years old, you know, me being into that type of stuff and like those demons and stuff like that, and like watching My Babysitter's a Vampire, just being into all that like gothic stuff, it just naturally led me down that path. And so what I'm trying to say is that you being you is enough. It's healing to other people. It's going to inspire people to naturally go down the path that they're meant to go. You don't have to sit here and necessarily life coach. You can obviously share your spiritual experiences and your knowledge. But it doesn't have to be a thing where it's like, guys, this is what you do. It's like, that's not what I'm trying to say, okay? So just naturally be yourself, because you're naturally going to heal people by being you. And yeah, if you got spiritual knowledge to share, then share it. You know what I mean? I told you guys, share your spiritual truth. But when I say share your spiritual truth and share your spiritual knowledge and stuff like that, I mean it in the way where it's like you're expressing yourself, where you're just being you. That's a great way to do that. So that's what I mean by that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that because I just felt called to. And yeah, it's just like you naturally being yourself can inspire people who will go down this occult path like you do. And you know what I mean? For me, there was plenty of influences that I had, you know, as a child that eventually led me to here. You know what I mean? And it was just with people naturally being themselves, or just movies that were just movies. You know what I mean? There wasn't any satanic messages, but you know, guess what? You know, it ended up leading me down this path. You know, I played Mortal Kombat, and guess what? Here I am. You know what I mean? Watching all the little horror movies and stuff like that. Guess what? Here I am. You know. So continuing the message, getting a little carried away. Continuing the message. Okay. Yeah, so you guys. Ooh. My shoulder popped. Alright, you guys. It's interesting because I also pulled like a divine feminine deck with this. Yeah, so there's like a major emphasis on like gender fluidity. I do feel like, you know, masculinity is really important to you guys in this point in time. And I really do feel like the reason why it's like presenting so strong is because you need to be forceful about who you are as a person. And you also have just this intense connection to to nature, the sun, and, you know, masculine spirits. And perhaps there's a lot of divine masculines in your bloodline that are leading you, guiding you, and directing you right now. But I feel like there's also this emphasis on like gender fluidity, not being stuck and defined by any type of, you know, gender or energy that, you know, whether that leans feminine or masculine. Does it make sense? He thinks that you're experiencing a lot of spiritual growth right now, which is most certainly true, with the butterfly musings. And like there's a lot of like shedding and transformation right now. Maybe it's like there's like new things about like yourself that you're discovering. See, rebirth, like there's this like you're coming closer to your truth, or like I said, I was highlighting being connected with your truth and sharing your truth with others. Maybe it's like this rebirth, this transformation that we're seeing is you being more open about your truth. And see, this card represents being like a leader made of stars. So you get that star power, that star energy. You guys are a leader. You guys have strong divine gifts, okay? And maybe it's also like there's this like, you guys have visions that are so intense that tell you exactly what's happening, or visions that can like predict the future, visions that like you can't shake. And he like highlights that you guys are really sincere. That you guys are really sincere about who you are. And I guess some people might feel as though maybe some people feel like intimidated by your truth. Maybe some people feel very intimidated by just how you choose to be. They don't understand it. Or they feel like maybe you're playing like a character because it's just so intense. And they don't like it. But you know that this is your truth, naturally. That this isn't a character, or isn't for attention. So just continue being yourself. And there's more to discover about you. that you have not fully discovered yet. But the more that you stand out, the more that you express yourself, the closer you will get to discovering some of these hidden truths, right? And maybe it's like I said, your spirit is just comforting. It's healing to a lot of people. And you have an impact on people's lives that you may not even be aware of. Okay, so what message does he have for you? He gives you learning. Art. Nature. And family. Okay, art is a very significant card because a lot of you guys are creators and your art is very important. It's something that will change a lot of people's lives in the way that they choose to express themselves or think about themselves. As I highlighted in this reading, like for me as a child, a lot of art, a lot of, movies, games, and stuff like that, it changed me. Or it didn't change me, but it inspired me. That's what I should say. Because I was naturally that way, you know what I mean? If I felt attracted to it, then it was naturally already that way. But it inspired me, and your art can inspire other people. It has an impact, so keep going with that. There's a lot of success in that, and with learning, he's like, there's so much that you're learning about yourself right now, and so much more learning that you can do when you are in nature. Maybe you're learning a lot of secrets about your family, your bloodline, and it can be revealed through your art. But you're like gaining a lot of knowledge. Maybe you've been reading a lot of occult books, or it's time to get back to that. Maybe it's also like some of the occult teachings that you, or I guess lessons that you experience, they're coming back. They're coming back to maybe test you. Maybe to be applied. Some of these teachings and things like that are being applied in your life right now. You need to apply it in your life. Like maybe you read a book, like I heard manual, like as some type of occult manual about how to do something. You know what I thought about? What's that one book that I read? It was by Pascal Beverly. I don't remember the title. It was a sex magic book. Well, okay. I thought about that book. So maybe that might be significant, something with sex magic. But anyways, there's an application of the things that you've learned in your life right now. And also just like maybe there's intensity in your spirituality with this divine masculine energy. Like there's things that are starting to move quick, like learning, gaining knowledge. There's things that are revealing itself to you. With family, it's like you're meant to be maybe even a healer in your family. For some. For others, maybe it's like you being authentically you attracts your divine family. Yeah, so there's emphasis on getting out in nature and getting connected with the world because there's a lot of spiritual truth that you can find in nature. And maybe with the nature card, it's also coming back to your nature, coming back to your wild nature and being an animal, because that's what we all are at this current point in time. We're all animals. So allowing yourself to just be free and wild and be connected to the world, because we aren't outside of nature, we are nature. And it's time to get connected with that energy again, because that's one thing that I notice that humans just can't really stand, in a sense. They can't really stand being connected to nature. Like, they try to put themselves outside of it, but we are part of it. We are part of this earth and all the beings that reside in it or on it. So that's what I feel like he's saying with that. And maybe there's also some family artistry or gifts and knowledge that's being passed down to you. And like I said, you can find it when you're outside of nature. Like, you can learn so much better when you're outside in nature, maybe reading books when you're outside. There's a connection to nature, okay? So, continuing the message, okay, we get disagreements, disciple, spirituality, and judgment. They didn't spell judgment correctly. I was like, that's not how you spell it. Whatever. Anyways. So with the disagreement energy, and I feel like I probably need to hear this message myself. But not everyone is going to agree with your spirituality. As we all know, not everyone's going to agree with who you are. I feel like when you're going through this like spiritual elevation that is currently happening in your life right now, and you're learning more and exploring more of your spirituality, there's going to be people that are going to be mad. There's going to be people that are going to fall away from you. There's going to be people that will accuse you of shit that you're not, because they just don't understand your spirituality. There's always going to be an opposing energy to your spirituality. And that's how life is. There's always an opposing energy to everything. There's a balance. We need balance. But just understand, the more that you grow spiritually, the more that you learn, the more closer you get to your truth, the more you express yourself, the more people are going to be mad. The more people are going to be angry, the more people are just not going to want to vibe with you. But on the contrary, there's going to be more people that love you. There's going to be more people that resonate with you. So the more you grow, you know, whether that be just even like throughout your journey, the more that you grow, there's going to be more people that are going to disagree with you. But there's also going to be more people that love you, that resonate with you, that support you. And so you just have to understand that. Because some of you guys, like, maybe there's this like deep down fear where it's like, I'm scared to continue growing because the more I'm seen, the more people can judge me. But it does not matter what you do. It doesn't matter what path you take. There's always going to be someone who judges you. So take the path that's authentic to you, and only that path. And you're learning so much, and just there's so much knowledge that's revealing itself to you, especially with this like spirituality card. It's time to reflect on some of the things that you've learned. Like I said, like applying some of the there's lessons that are being applied to your life right now, like things that you have learned. And also with the spirituality card, I keep talking about like family. There is some deeper truths within your family. And maybe some of you guys feel alone in your family. Maybe you just feel like no one resonates with your spirit. No one resonates with your spirituality. But you don't know that deep within your bloodline is always something that's been intertwined. You know, the left-hand path and the Satanism has been something that's deep in your bloodline. And like, for example, if we look back at Egypt, a lot of people consider, you know, these deities that they worshipped or venerated to be, you know, Baal worship. It's always been something that's like in your bloodline. You know, your spirituality has been something that can be traced years and years back. It's something that's going to always follow you throughout every lifetime you live on this earth. Because it's just a part of you. And you don't know that. You don't know that your family, you know, further and further back resonates with your magic, with your practice. But you just have to understand that, like, even if you feel alone within your family now, it doesn't mean that your whole entire bloodline disagrees with you, or there isn't this resonance in your bloodline. It is attracted to you for a reason. Does that make sense? So some of you guys need to hear that. And I feel like with this judgment moment, there might be a turning point. There's a calling. There's a calling when it comes down to your spirituality. To be open with who you are to other people and share it across the world and be firm in your position as the magician you are. You guys need to be more open to sharing your beauty, your magic, sharing you. Because this is a calling that is happening right now. You need to be yourself. So that is the message from Baphomet. And if you enjoyed this reading, please click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And hit the like button if you haven't liked already. And comment if you haven't commented already. And, you know, if this reading really tickled your heart and you want a personal message with Baphomet, or just a personal reading generally speaking, you can do that now. Link in the description. And if you feel generous today and you want to gift me a deck or anything, you can check my throne wishlist link in the description as well. So that's about it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Take care and goodbye. Hello, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. So, what does Baphomet actually think about you? Well, your overall energy is weather divination. So you guys are really in tune with your emotions, really emotional. So you could have like a really strong water placement in your chart. But you guys like have this like intensity and emotion. And maybe it's like your emotion is almost reflective of weather. Like, for example, like thunderstorms or tornadoes. Or like even just like light rain. Like your emotions mimic weather. And in your magic, your emotions are very important. Like, let's say you're really angry. Well, that like intense, like fiery energy can influence whatever magic you are practicing or whatever spell you are casting at that time. So your emotions are really important to you. It's really important to your spirituality and your... Obviously, emotions are important to everybody and their spirituality. But I feel like for you guys, it just really influences the way that your journey goes, in a sense. And perhaps you guys, like, maybe there's like a lack of control when it comes down to it. Because if you look at the woman's hair on the card, like it's like there's an animal that's coming from it, like a monster of some sort. And some of you guys maybe are just like, you feel a lack of control with your emotions, or it's not even a lack of control. Maybe you're just like afraid to feel the full depth of them. Like you're afraid to be fully emotional because you view it as something that's like a negative or like a monster in your life. When you're like expressive of your emotions, or like if you cry or get angry, you're just really sensitive and you just view it as a monster that you're trying to always control. And I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't control it, because I feel like for some of you guys, it can get like a little bit crazy. But I just guess like what he's trying to express here is that like, if you can master your emotions and put it towards your spirituality and your magic, you could be pretty much unstoppable. And maybe that's what this is all about, like learning to take your emotions and the intensity of them and using them as a tool instead of something that can own or control you, or something that you're frightened of or can't really understand. So, like, it is okay to be emotional. It's okay to be sensitive. You guys just need to learn how to use it as a tool. And also stop being so afraid of it as well. I understand that it could be sometimes uncontrollable for some. But it's just like you need to be able to use this as a tool because it's very important to you and you're the way you are for a reason. It's one of your gifts. So I feel like that's what he's highlighting with this. Let me see if I can channel anything else from this card. Maybe it's also connection to like lightning or a deity that like can be represented by like lightning or thunderstorms, like Set, Zeus, Oya, some type of deity that's connected to, you know, like bolts of lightning. Maybe it's also like these bolts of lightning, like maybe it's like I was thinking about like the reflection of like life itself and like how our veins are like the roots of trees and like the bolts of lightning that we see in the sky. Like some type of interconnectedness or interconnectedness. Come on, interconnectedness. Come on, let's get together with because I'm not about to start messing up during this reading. Like there's some type of interconnectedness. Maybe it's like there's something about your natural way of being that's important. Like I said, it was your emotions. It's something that's very important to your spirituality. Maybe it's like I really do feel like this card is just overall highlighting that it's okay to be like emotional. It's okay to feel emotions. And you don't have to view these emotions as a monster that you experience in your life. Like I said, they can be a powerful tool for you, a powerful tool in your spiritual journey. And you just have to learn to appreciate these emotions and accept them and control them and turn them into a tool. So yeah, that's what I'm getting from that card, from the overall energy of you guys. Let's hop into the message. You know, let's continue this. Starting with the tarot. What does he actually think about you? The Lovers. Eight of Wands. King of Cups. Judgment. Okay, I had kind of like some, I guess, discourse about this. When I was doing my last reading, I had a card that said Judgment on it from like one of my other Oracle decks. And it was without the E. And I was like, that can't be right. Like, that's wrong, right? But you know what's really interesting? I'm not trying to spoil the reading. But one of my other cards says Judgment on it. And it does not have the E. And then I was like, okay. So then I typed it out on like my notes app to see which one was correct. And they were both correct. So I'm like, is there two different ways of spelling judgment? Or is there like a difference between both of them? Because I'm not quite sure like the whole entire situation with that. So anyways, continuing the message. So maybe right now in your life you're going through or you went through a really intense, I guess, event or you're just feeling really like in the dumps. Like you're feeling like you're in the dumps. You're feeling a little bit shitty at this current point in time. And you're recovering. You're recovering from that. I feel like the reason why you've started to feel like things have just escalated to this point is because there's like a profound spiritual calling that you have to answer to. Like I said, it has a lot to do with the way that you view and treat your emotions. And I also feel like it has something to do with like your heart, especially since we have the Lover's card. There's something about like love energy, and maybe some of you guys feel very disappointed by love in your life. You feel really disappointed by it. Or you're just afraid to love, or afraid to be completely authentic and open with people. And you're learning to grow from that. I feel like the King of Cups is highlighting like someone who can respect what they're feeling in their heart. At least in this reading, I feel like it's highlighting someone who can respect what they're feeling in their heart. And I feel like for you guys, you need to stop suffocating your feelings because they're telling you the truth. And perhaps these feelings are leading you towards a calling, this judgment. Your feelings are telling you that it's time to submit to this inner calling. Okay, let's get more information on this calling, because I know it's about like something to do with love and stuff like that. It could also just be like maybe it's time to open your heart. But I feel like there's also something spiritual to this, because there's like some highlighted energy of like spiritual growth and development. It could be that like this calling is asking you to be more open to love because it is a part of your spiritual growth. But I want to get some more information, okay? So, clarify judgments. Clarify judgment. Okay, and clarify the... Oh, I wasn't done speaking. Clarify the Lovers. Okay, I see what's going on here. Okay, so this is really interesting. So there's like a calling when it comes down to the heart. Like your emotions are telling you to be open to love. Because it's interesting because we have the Emperor and the Empress. And so for some of you guys, you're finding your Emperor or your Empress at this current point in time, or it's calling to you. This pursuit to find your soulmate, something that's going to turn out successful, but that is if you allow yourself to feel, if you allow yourself to be authentic, if you allow yourself to be emotional. So I guess what it's trying to say is like you need to really start opening your sacral chakra. And there needs to be a healing with that. And you need to respect your emotions. You need to respect your heart and what your heart is telling you to do. You need to start listening to your heart more often. because there's a lover or some type of soulmate that's waiting for you. And they can only come in once you are open to love, receiving and giving. And once you're what the fuck am I trying to say? Hello? There's something about the emotions. Once you are aligned with your emotions, once you allow it to be something that's significant in your life, I guess what he's trying to say is just stop being so closed off. Stop being so closed off and afraid of expressing how you feel, especially with the full energy underneath the lovers. Like, allow yourself to explore love, allow yourself to be emotional. Yeah, it's time for you guys to allow yourself to be more emotional. I feel like I've said that 5 times. All right, so let's just get into the next set of cards. All right, we have the Fang. Power and might. The Billion. And Found. Okay. Okay, so he tells you, he tells you that you are closed off. You know what's interesting? Oh, dog barking. Confirmation. You know what's interesting? When I saw this card, I thought about you and him. Like, that's Baphomet, that's you. So there's like, it's a representation of like spiritual assistance. Yeah, you guys are so closed off, and it's like, you need to be open. Because you're suffocating your sacral chakra. Like, I feel like you can't align with your like spiritual gifts. You can't align with your you can't really create the outcomes that you want, or you can't bring forth your manifestations when you're closed off sacrally. Because the sacral chakra is all about creation energy. So you guys need to have courage and strength to be able to face your heart and be open to what it's calling you to do. In this case, it's about being open to love and loving energy. Because some of you guys are like hopeless romantics. But there's a significance with that. With the like hopeless romantic energy. There's a significance to this whole entire romance energy as a whole. Like, it's a part of your craft and magic. Romance and love. And the heart and emotional energy, that's a part of your magic as a whole. And I feel like when you guys are like suppressing it and ignoring your heart, it suppresses your magic. It suppresses you as a soul. And it like suffocates your manifestations, yeah. It suffocates your manifestations, and it also suffocates your ability to grow spiritually on this journey. I hope this is making sense. Because I'm trying to piece this message together with, you know what I mean? But you guys need to be free from the judgment that others may have for you for being emotional. You guys feel like if you are in tune with your emotions, if you feel like if you pursue love, if you're open, then people are going to judge you, hurt you. But you can't feel that way anymore. You have to be open because there is a soulmate that is wanting to come in. And you need to trust your heart. You need to trust this journey. You need to trust this calling because it's happening for a reason. Because you and your soulmate, you guys are going to create together. You guys are going to, I heard like legacy. There's going to be a legacy between both of you guys. But you have to be emotionally open. And I feel like if you are more emotionally open, you're opening up to your gifts. You're going to be more open to spiritual insight as well. I feel like I'm saying the same shit over and over again. So let's just move on. Because you guys already know at this point. So let's move on to the message. What message does he have for you? He gives us solace. Blush. See, there's love. Love is in the air. Love. All right. Cocoon. Consider your source. You were created to love. That's what I thought about when I saw the cocoon. Brave. Don't self-sabotage. You guys are turning away from the love that is presenting itself. There's going to be someone who's coming in. Maybe somebody who's already come in. They want to present some love to you. But you guys, you're acting nonchalant. You're acting like you don't care, but your heart cares. You're trying to suppress what you feel inside. You're also trying to suppress the fact that you need it. That you're in need of love at this current point in time. So you're isolating yourself and running away from people. But you can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore. And see, the more that you isolate yourself and you run away from people, the more sad you're going to feel. Like you've been going through a lot of tough shit because you just cannot face your hearts. But coming back to the cocoon card, you know, the consider your source, consider your creation. You're created to love, to give love on this earth. You're made out of love. You have a sacred lineage that loves you. And all of their creation together has led to you. So you are very important. And you're meant to be important to other people. Maybe you guys feel like there is an importance when it comes down to you. You feel like you aren't important to other people. But you are. You are important and you're meant to love and you're meant to experience that. And some of you guys are just ready to self-sabotage and run away from this and be like, I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't want to open my heart. But you have to. You have to. This is the only way things will get better. Because if you continue to suffocate yourself and suppress your emotions, you're just going to continue going in a circle. Nothing's going to change. So, you know, the soulmate's here. It's presenting itself in this reading. But you cannot be afraid. You have to face the love and you have to face the romance. Let your heart feel, because this is how you work as a creator, as a magician. You know, some of you guys are supposed to be like sex magicians. Yet, you know, your sacral chakra is completely closed. What type of, you know, sex magician do you know that has a closed sacral chakra? Besides me. But, you know, what magician do you know is practicing magic like that, you know, who has a closed sacral chakra? Like, to be able to perform that type of magic, you can't be closed off like that. Like, you guys would reach your full potential if you allowed your emotions to experience. And when I say, like, when I was talking about control over your emotions, I was talking about, like, the emotions where it's like, you know, you start spiraling out of control, and you need to have control over that. It's like they're very important, that intense emotional energy. But maybe like the whole entire spiraling out of control thing is where you guys feel afraid. Continue to fully be open to your emotions. And those are the emotions that you need to have control of. If you could just use your emotions as a tool in your life, I feel like you'd be more comfortable with it. Is this making sense? I hope I'm making sense right now. Okay, let's continue this. You know what's interesting? I felt called to pull the Egyptian Oracle deck because it means something to me in Baphomet's relationship, and he gave his own card with Ptah's skill, and he also gives us Mertzager, righteousness, and Kanzu, hermitage, and we have Nut, understanding. Okay, so even with like the Nut card, it highlights creation and sex. So for you guys who are listening to this reading, this partner that is coming into your life is meant to create with you and practice sex magic with you. But can you do that if you're afraid and you're closed off? I don't think you can. Can you? So you need to open up. You guys already know this because I've been saying this for at least 20 minutes now, right? You need to open your hearts and be unafraid of this journey that is presenting itself. That is romance, okay? Because it's time to feel. And you guys feel like you have to protect yourself all the time because it's just dangerous, maybe from past experiences. Or like, I also thought of like a relationship that you saw before. Like maybe your parents' relationship wasn't as loving as it should have been. Or you're just so used to seeing people get heartbroken online. Or you've been heartbroken several times. Just people have been rude towards you for being who you are. Maybe people have demonized your emotions every time you've cried and tried to express yourself to other people. They've thought they have accused you of being overly emotional, And you just feel the need to protect yourself all the time, but it's time to let down. It's time to let down it's time to let down those walls and be open. Be open to this romance, be open to this partner because they're meant to create with you. And perhaps there's a family that you guys are meant to have, a divine lineage that you're meant to continue. So that's for some. I know that not all of the people listening want to have children. That's completely fine. But I'm saying for some, it's like you're meant to have a family and continue your divine lineage because maybe there's children that you're meant to have that are going to be, master magicians or healers that have their own divine purpose to carry out within this life. And that's for some. That's for all who resonate, right? With, Ptah and skill. Sex magic is something that is very important to you. And love and romance. All of that energy is very important to you and your gifts as a magician. But can you ever utilize those gifts if you are closed off to them? Can you? Because you need to be open to this magic. You need to be open to your emotions to be able to grow spiritually. And so you won't grow unless you open your heart. Okay, trust what lies ahead. Trust this journey. Trust the love that is presenting itself in your life. Trust the romance energy that wants to be present in your life. Okay. So I feel that's the message. Okay, I feel like I've been yapping a little bit too long. I hope this made sense. Because I feel like I was really trying to interpret that shit hard. It's just a very interesting message, like about emotional energy. You guys just feel really closed off, and it's time to open up, right? So that was fun. If you enjoyed this reading, you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button, click the like button. And if this really hit hard, then feel free to book a reading with me. Like, if you really want to get your own personal, in-depth message from Baphomet himself, then let's book a reading together, all right? Or book a reading about anything. It really doesn't matter. But I have personal readings available now. If you feel called to donate me a deck, for this channel, then I got my throne wishlist link in the description. And, you know, if you want to leave me a tip, then you can leave me a tip in my tip jar, okay? And that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and goodbye.